Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Season 3 introduced a ton of changes to Warzone, things that impacted Caldera, things that impacted Rebirth, things that impacted weapons overall. Now, earlier on this week, we went ahead and we broke down the top 10 best weapons for Warzone overall, primarily focused on Caldera gameplay with 300 health. Today, we're focusing solely on Rebirth. At 250 HP as it stands, what weapons are going to dominate here with the top 5 best loadouts to be running right now? As we break them all down, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. It really does help the channel grow. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, around 54% of viewers watching the videos are not subbed yet. And every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. That way you can always stay up to date. And also right now, my G Fuel discount code WhosImmortal is actually boosted to get you 30% off your entire orders. So if you want to grab a new tub, a new shaker cup, or a new starter pack, code WhosImmortal has you covered with that spicy discount. Link for that will be down in the description below. So getting into loadout 1 here, I got the XM4 and the Owen gun, two absolute demons when it comes to Rebirth Island. With the health differences here between Caldera and Rebirth, obviously, these weapons fry. Now they're frying overall on Caldera as well, but they're just easier here. The time to kill is quicker here, clearly. I love these two guns. The Owen gun is just a ton of fun to use, great mobility, insane TTK. XM4, it's been a beast for a long time now, as we all know. Setup here, super basic. Agency suppressor, task force barrel, the field agent grip. Because it's Rebirth and with that 250 health, I feel like 45 rounds is totally sufficient here. 60 always would work. Like there's no bad reason to use 60 here, right? Totally sufficient. But if you wanted a little bit more lightweight setup, you could run 45. And because it doesn't take 3 to 4 extra shots per kill, you can get away with that just fine. Also running the 3x optic on here as well. Basic stuff there for the XM4. The Owen gun setup does change a little bit with Season 3. Recoil booster still. I am still running the rapid barrel. I see some players running shrouded here and there. It's just not for me with the plus limb damage, minus headshot damage. I like to be rewarded for good aim. So rapid's going to help out with the TTK in general, and it's still going to work just fine here. For the optic, Slate 2.5 times is still working just fine. It gets the magazine out of the way, which is super ideal. That said, I have been messing around with the Model 47 a lot recently, and this optic works for me. I'm not sure why, but I just like how it feels. I am still running Slate 2.5 times most of the time though. For the stock, going for a move, going to help out with the mobility a ton there. For the underbarrel, of course, we're going for hand stop to help out with the control. The magazine is where things do change up a little bit. We talked about this before. With the nerf to the Garanko 72 multipliers to the neck and to the head, the TTK is a little bit slower here. If you want the best TTK possible, 9mm 72 is going to be your way to go. It's just going to have a little bit more recoil that you're going to have to deal with. So if you want the best TTK, go for 9mm 72. If you want the best control and the easiest way to land your shots with the Owen gun, go for the Garanko 72. Neither are bad options. For the ammo here, you could go for lengthened or you could go for subsonic if you wanted to. Keep yourself off the minimap. Of course, though, if your teammates die, you're going to show up anyways if you're not running ghosts. So depending on how valuable staying off the radar is to you is probably going to determine if you want to use subsonic or lengthened. Both of them are great options yet again. For the rear grip here, fabric or polymer, better ADS with fabric, better control with polymer. Just comes down to which you value more. I love the fact that we've got options like this. Perk 1, acrobatic, and then perk 2, quick. So some changes here and there with this Owen setup. I love the fact, like I just said though, that you can go multiple different routes and end up with a very good gun regardless. Next up, we got the Vargo, we got the MP40. Both of these actually got nerfed with the Season 3 update. Yet both of them are still top options. So, I mean, you cannot go wrong with either of these. Of course, you can always flip-flop the MP40 for the Owen gun for the Welgun, which we'll be getting to. Totally up to you. Vargo setup's going to be the exact same as over on the XM4. Going for Spetsnaz, Task Force, GRU, 45 or 60. Again, both of these work just fine. And then also the 3x optic once more. Standard Cold War AR setup that gets the job done and it still fries. Then for the MP40, despite the nerfs to the short barrel setup, we're still running that exact same short barrel setup. So recoil booster, short barrel. I love having the slate reflector on here. I'm not huge on the iron sights with the short barrel, so I keep that on there. Going for the folding stock for better mobility. Also running the skeletal underbarrel here for the better ADS, making it nice and agile. Garanko 45 round mags here. I'm still loving those. Lengthen for the better velocity, helps out in some of those medium range fights. Fabric or polymer here for the rear grip. The recoil is not too bad here, so I feel like fabric is a really solid choice. Perk 1 going for steady. None of these perks are really all that great. And then perk 2, quick or fully loaded per usual. And you got an MP40 setup that not only looks cool because we got the Snoop Dogg blueprint, but it fries every single game. Now loadout 3, a pretty fun one, the Bruen and the Welgun. Yes, the Bruen is back, folks. The TTK that this thing has, honestly, on both maps, it fries here on Rebirth. We talked about this last season, and it fries on Caldera as well. Like, it absolutely 100% is back in the competitive meta conversation, and I love it. The Bruen's one of my all-time favorite guns, and on Rebirth, it works just fine. So first up, obviously, we got the monolithic suppressor. For the barrel here, usually you want to go for the largest one on MW guns, which is going to be the Summit in this case. Best range, best velocity, best control. You could try Horizon. It'll be a little bit more lightweight. You just don't get as much control benefits out of that. So totally just depends on what you want there. We're also going for the tack laser. In my opinion, I value this a little bit more over the commando foregrip, especially on Rebirth, going for that faster ADS. I also really like running the VLK or the blue dot hollow sight. If you have that unlocked, they each work really, really well on the Bruen in particular. So just depends on which one you either have unlocked or value more. Then lastly, we're going for these 60 round mags. Just makes it sort of that AR LMG hybrid. Very aggressive setup, super reliable, and it's got an insane TTK. And then for the Welgun, it's kind of same old here. Same setup we were running back in season 2. Recoil booster, shrouded barrel. I'm liking the slate reflector on this as well. The iron sights are all right, but this just helps out more with some of those mid-range fights. Remove stock here for the better mobility. Hand stop to help out with that control yet again. Gorenko 40 round mags, still working just fine on this setup. Also going for lengthened yet again. Polymer or fabric per usual here, as we just talked about. If you value ADS, go for fabric. If you value control, go for polymer. Also running acrobatic and then quick on here too. One of my favorite setups in the game, and it is still putting in the work here in season 3. Next up, we got the Cold War AK, we got the PPSH. Love both these guns on Rebirth. Obviously, they both dominate on Caldera as well. We talked about them in that last top 10 loadouts video, but the setups are a bit different here. You got the opportunity to run an ADS or a hipfire PPSH, and with the AK, you can actually run the smaller magazine, make it more lightweight, and make it more agile and aggressive in general. First up though, Grew Suppressor, RPK barrel, of course running Spetsnaz grip as well. Like I said, 45 rounds, works just fine here, same deals on the XM4. You could always go up to 60, never a bad idea. But 45 to me, just, I love the way it feels. And then lastly, we got the 3x optic, no surprises here. For the PPSH, I am going for the ADS build in this case to switch things up. You could go for the hip fire, like I said, as well if you wanted to. But we are going for recoil booster here to help out with that fire rate, increase that TTK a little bit. For the barrel, going for my very own Zach 300mm. Better control, which is always ideal. Also helps out the range and velocity a little bit too. I actually really like the ISO 3P iron sights here. Nice and clean, super easy to stay on target with. Still going for the remove stock in this case. It hurts the control a little bit, but the movement speed benefits, the sprint and fire benefits, those outweigh that in my opinion. I am going for hand stop on this build just to help out with that control a little bit. If you're comfortable with that, go for like skeletal, go for the pistol grip even. Both of those could be really good choices too. For the magazine, Gorenko. If you're ADSing, you gotta go for Gorenko. If you're hip firing, go for Nambu. Really important to pay attention to that. Also going for lengthened here per usual, going for polymer or fabric as always. Perk 1 going for tight grip for the better control, then quick once more. No surprises in perk 2. Loving this setup, like I said, it gets the job done. Flies and fries, one of the top options for sure. And then lastly, I did want to feature one Rebirth sniping loadout, and we got the Pellington and we got the AS-44, the beast that is the close range just monster, right? Now when it comes to close range sniping, obviously as we know, big changes happened with season 3. The car caps out at like 55 meters, so does the Swiss. The Pellington caps out at a little longer range. It's at like 60, 70 meters, somewhere around that mark. It's still close, but it's got a slightly better range than some of the other snipers, which is why I'm opting for this over something like the car or the Swiss. While it's still not going to be every single fight, it's going to help out with more of them than those other snipers would. So first up here, going for Wrap Suppressor, then also the Combat Recon Barrel. That'll give us the best range and best velocity possible. Also want to run the 5mm laser for the better ADS time. That's a huge deal here. I like the base optics, so we don't have to worry about that. Instead, I'm going for the Airborne Elastic Wrap, better ADS, better flinch resistance. Then I also like to run the Bruiser Grip, which actually gives you better movement speed and better aiming stability. Just makes it a little bit more aggressive, lightweight, and agile, which obviously you want for Rebirth Island. Then for the AS-44, we are focused on just maximizing the TTK. For what it's worth, as sniper support, this is based between like 0 and 15 to 20 meters because it will decimate everyone. It's got a lot of recoil though, and obviously the range, as you get further out, it's going to be harder to hit your shots. But man, up close, very few things are going to beat this. So recoil booster first and foremost, the falchion barrel for the better fire rate here. Obviously you could change it up and go for something like the precision or even the 615. That'll help out a bit more with the control, make it a bit more manageable, but it's not going to be as fast firing and dominant up close. I'm also going for the 2.5 times to help out with the recoil a bit, and it's decent for up close as well. The zoom's not too crazy. Actually going for the remove stock in this case, just for the better movement speed primarily is what I'm looking for there. For the underbarrel, Carver here is pretty solid. It's going to help out a lot with that vertical control, also give you some better hip fire, which you can be doing a lot of with this setup in my opinion. For the magazine, I'm liking the Garanko 50. Better control, better fire rate, better movement speed, all ideal for those close range fights. Honestly, the bullet velocity is pretty solid here, so you could use subsonic if you wanted to stay off the radar completely. Absolutely okay choice. If you really wanted the extra velocity, lengthen would not hurt you either. So you can't really go wrong there. Definitely need polymer here for the better control. Perk 1, actually going for gung ho to eliminate all the sprint to fire there. Just helps out a ton for close range. Then perk 2, honestly on hand for the better ADS could be really good here. And obviously fully loaded is always good too. So you can definitely take your pick between those. With that being said, that my friends is what I got going on for Rebirth right now. Those are the top 5 best loadouts in my opinion. That's gonna wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.